I don't know. I don't know if I'm going crazy, but I'll try to get through this with relative ease and less rambling, but we'll see. So Silent Hill 2 Remake, we saw that gameplay, right? It happened. It was a thing. It was something I experienced. A lot of interesting notions and thoughts of mine as well as everyone else's. First and foremost, I just want to say there was some invalid criticisms of this game, folks. Now, which area is it? This area right here saying, why is there so many monsters? Is this equivalent to Resident Evil 4? And I'm just like, in the original, there was like three of them standing right there, and you could choose to fight them or ignore them. These enemies in particular. I'm pretty sure a fight or flight response will be put in Silent Hill 2 Remake. Then there's like people, oh well, Silent Hill gameplay is clunky in the first place. I understand that. I agree with that. James Sunderland, Heather Mason, Harry Mason, Henry Townsend, they are all every men and every women. They are normal people, normal lives. They are not trained soldiers like Resident Evil. So I can admit the RE comparison was a little bit strange in my eyes when I made that, and I can own up to it. But here's the thing. The reason why I made that comparison is because Resident Evil gameplay just feels a lot smoother. It's always been smoother as a gameplay experience. Whereas Silent Hill is clunky, is heavier, focuses on melee weapons as well as guns. But it seems like guns is like it's a lot more melee weapons in certain games than it is guns. However, that being said, like it's never been that great. Silent Hill's emphasis has always been story, characters, thematics, putting that at the forefront, and that's why people mostly loved Silent Hill, myself included. Resident Evil had the great gameplay. Silent Hill had the great story, thematics, psychological, originality. And it's something for everyone in the horror genre, in the horror space, and I get that. But when I talk clunkiness, when I thought I was witnessing clunkiness in Silent Hill 2 Remake, it's like there are games where the character can be your average Joe, like Joel and Ellie, Last of Us. They look like they're actually fighting with the hunters and everything, and they're all stumbling around, or someone gets punched in the face, they react. It's like going back and forth. It's like a very grounded sense of reality with the fighting in Last of Us. Whereas it's not clean, it's not professionalized. It's just one human fighting the other until the other one is dead. Dog eat dog. It's very vicious looking, nasty, and also clunky in terms of how at least it looks aesthetically. Not that it plays clunky. I don't think that it should play clunky, but I think the animations should serve the characterization, and that's what I want for Silent Hill. Silent Hill 2 Remake, it needs to play well while also looking haggard, clunky, and having those animations represent and embody the human element of these regular civilians walking around and doing things. Maybe I didn't convey that in the best way yesterday, but now I am. Then there's like folks saying, well, Silent Hill shouldn't have trailers that focuses on combat. And I would say you are absolutely incorrect. Even before this. The first Silent Hill, the second one, I mean, even the third one, they had gameplay presentations that were focused on the guns and the melee weapons and everything. If I can find it right here for you, see this guy, like, first I'm going to show remake gameplay. Let's go right here. So you see that, right? You see that combat. Then we're going to go to the 2001 E3 trailer for the original Silent Hill. And you're going to see gunplay. You're going to see it. Hold on. Combat. Look at that. Gunplay. And a sexual scene. Oh my god, what the fuck? Anyway, you saw combat in that trailer. Presented with the original Silent Hill E3 2001. Yeah, they have shown gameplay and gunplay and melee attacks before in Silent Hill trailers. So you can't say, oh, well, they should just do story. If they showed another story trailer, people would have been livid. And you know why? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. If they didn't show any gameplay and they showed a second story trailer, it's like, oh, you guys are cowards. You don't show gameplay. Where's the gameplay? I'm not buying this game. Where's the gameplay? No gameplay. So, once again, they show gameplay. Now, it is, of course, obviously, like I said, I don't mind people saying it looks a little rough. I kind of think a little bit of that. And it's fine. It's like to me, it looks like an indie project almost, like a double A game, not really triple A, like not really Last of Us Part 2 animations. Maybe I'm just spoiled. I can admit that. Just the spoil side of me that's used to things like that. Doesn't mean it's going to be a bad game though. Just to reiterate and clarify. Now that they show gameplay, you have gameplay, and people are saying Silent Hill presentations should never focus on gameplay when I just showed you the original focusing on gameplay at the E3 2001 trailer. You just saw it. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I know the emphasis is story because Silent Hill is all about psychological torment. 100% and very hardcore thematics and, world bending and trauma and everything you could think of. Yes, I understand. Story has always been the forefront of Silent Hill, but it doesn't mean that these original games did not have combat elements to them. If you're remaking a game, it would have been 10 times worse if you took out the combat sections because so many people would have been pissed. They would have said, oh, well, Bloober's Wheelhouse, where they focus on games that don't have combat in them, let's just take that out. Let's see how the fans react. I bet you 10,000% without those combat elements, you guys would be pissed. You'd be pissed off. And just say that, yes, there is combat engagement in these games, but is it the forefront? Not really. Do I want improvements? Well, yeah. Everyone wants things to be improved. This is what Resident Evil did when they made even better gameplay, in my opinion, with RE4. Like, you could do so much stuff now compared to the last time. Walk and shoot, parry, all sorts of shit. It's like it feels like a wet dream. No other quaint way to say anything like that whatsoever. We all want refinements. Again, Last of Us does it to where the gameplay still feels good, right? But the characters are clunky in terms of moving around. It's hard to describe. Two humans fighting is not gonna look elegant if they're not trained professionals or anything. Someone's gonna get knocked out quick. It's gonna be scrappy. It's a scrappy Queensberry rules only fight. And people trip, people fall. In The Last of Us, like, the animation should look like that, where they're conveying the human element of the person being clunky, but they're also enhancing and making the controls feel relatively solid. And I think that's what needs to happen for this Silent Hill remake. You should have your everyman like James be in a situation where he is not the most trained specimen in the room, but he still is a human being, has human elements, untrained, but also it should feel like decent while also being a challenge at the same time. No matter what mode you put it on, it should, unless it's easy or something, which is like, okay, fine, have your fun. If I put it on normal or hard, I should feel like there is a combat challenge. There's a reason why they decipher Silent Hill as you got action hard, there is action, and then you got the puzzle bit as well on whatever you choose. So it does exist. You can't take it away from Silent Hill. while the story is the forefront, so is some of the gameplay elements exploring, puzzle solving, and heightening that story with every singular beat. I feel like as a game, who wouldn't want their game to fire off on all cylinders? Great story, gameplay, graphics, everything, controls. Who doesn't want the real 10 out of 10 where it feels like that, right? Everyone's saying, "Oh, everything is not a masterpiece." Well, yeah, I agree. But you want it to feel that way, no? You want it to feel as good as possible or as good as it can get. And I think that's what they should do with making James feel like he moves and hits people like a cumbersome fashion, but not really to the point where I'm dealing with controls that makes me want to rip my hair out. The reason for this video is I don't know if I feel punked. I really don't, but you look at the gameplay. He's smacking people. Like you look at the gameplay, and you see it. You see it. And there's some, and just to home in my point, there's some things with the aiming that just feels, a little bit weird in this trailer. I don't know what it is. Like almost no recoil, not as snappy sound effects. It just has to do with how it feels a little bit low budget. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. It feels kind of like an indie project. And then they released this 7-second teaser. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, why? Why are they releasing this? To get ahead of the reception? And I don't know why. But when I watch this, James walks forward, feels a little bit more intuitive. And then he aims, and it feels like it's a little bit more intuitive. And the nurse looks awesome, dude. Slumped over, just completely decrepit. What I expected from Silent Hill. Just incredible. And I don't know why, but it's something with this gameplay, this little snippet, this teaser, that gives me some hope. I don't know what it is. I don't know if my brain is fucking with me. But it gives me some hope that maybe they are listening, or maybe this was an older build that they showed off at State of Play, and now this is more refined. This is more great. The flickering lights, the environment, the snappiness of aiming, that looked much better and less choppy than the State of Play teaser. Or maybe they did that on purpose. Or maybe they saw the backlash and they're like, okay, we'll drop this. This is a recent build. That's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna make people talk and speculate, and it feels better. Something about this feels much better. I don't know. I just, you tell me if I'm going crazy or you don't see it. That you don't see it right here. That it is something to be acknowledged. Like, just looks, feels better than what we saw yesterday. And of course, I'm not gonna 100% shit on everything. I said, even in the trailer, the breakdown, it clearly said the game is in development. It could take like 7 years. It could take like 8 years. I don't care. As long as it feels like a true, I don't want to say successor, because Silent Hill 2 is amazing. Like the original, amazing. And maybe there could be some areas topped with this remake. Whether it stands on par or it exceeds the idea, like it exceeds what people see as remakes, because there are many friends I know who says Dead Space Remake is one of the best remakes in their opinion in terms of heightening the story, the characters, the gameplay elements, and fixing everything and making everything look good. They want that bar of quality. And maybe we're being spoiled. And we're just not seeing the bigger picture here. I'm still cautiously optimistic. I still want to believe that I could be wrong. And they could fix all the jankiness, or I never felt any. But I do believe the importance of feedback. is going to measure, and not like the asshole feedback where people are like, oh, the dev should go under, like stupid shit like that, like idiots like that. I can't stand people like that. I'm talking about actually giving something worth a salt to moving forward and giving ideas, and the transparency behind it, like the Dead Space developers showing us from the beginning, hey, there's no micros in this game. Don't worry about it. I understand EA has been, well, they haven't said this, but EA has been kind of shit recently. A lot of speculation and a lot of hardcore saying this might suck, but still, we're going to be fully open with you guys, show the toolbox of the alpha in development, and go through it. Like, even when the game didn't look that great, they had meshes and everything, like, they were open to us. Release a demo, do something like that, and then we'll test it out. And like I thought previously, like Neo was the great test bed for the alpha not being so great, and then the betas following from the surveys and feedback being absolutely phenomenal after the fact. And I think we might have something. We could have something for the ages. Just, it is Bloober's first horror game with combat. And I hope they take it in stride and listen to what is going down. Because if it is choppy and janky, it feels that way, it's going to be Judgment Day for those developers and how they handle outsourcing so far. But a little bit more of a positive light. Just them releasing this, it definitely worked because it made my neurons think. It made my mind process things. It made me think a little bit more as to, this might actually be something fun. I might actually agree with what the comment section was telling me. This might be fun. This might be interesting to engage with. I want to see what they do with these flickering lights and the darkness and the enemies coming from around the corner. It could be a really scary experience if done right. But there is also the possibility that maybe, just maybe, they could float development. But I do want to see how they handle this, and I cannot wait to get more news and information. If they have a giant rollout, I just want more, because I'm always going to be a fan of Silent Hill no matter what. I don't care. I'm always going to love this series no matter what, through the worst times, and I've been through the worst times with the whole outsourcing thing they did before with Downpour, Homecoming. Remember that? I was there day one. I hated Downpour, but still love this series, and it could progress in the right hands. It's just only time is going to tell how these remakes are formulated. And I believe, I know Silent Hill doesn't sell as much as Metal Gear. I know that. And I compared it to Metal Gear Delta. But I think this series does deserve the same treatment as Metal Gear, their cash cow. It should get that love. It should get that whole affinity to it. It should get that appreciation, because there are still hardcore Silent Hill fans that really want Silent Hill to thrive just as much as Resident Evil did in terms of consistent and good releases. And I think it's due time we get that. I think it is justified that one day we taste some of that quality content for Silent Hill, because truly, frankly, and sincerely, it deserves it. My name is Renegade Operative. I'm signing out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and take care of yourselves. See you later.